Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to my reaction and discussion for episode 13, aka the finale of Serial Experiments Lain. Last time, Lain was left with a choice that has been hinted at, it seems like, throughout the series, with her wanting to know who she is, what she is. She is wrestling with her sense of self. Her creator, Eri, the person who sees himself as the god of the wired and wants to connect humans and put out basically his teachings. He's almost like a god who's like, I want to connect everybody and I want them all to believe in my truth, what I want them to believe. And you are kind of like the person I created to spread that message, I guess. But Lain has been fighting it this whole time about like, I am a human, but she seemed to be kind of waffling a little bit. There was the moments in the last episode where there was Chisa and there was the guy who died at the club who was saying like, living is easy, dying is easy, dying is hard, dying is easy. So it seems like she's going to have a choice, like, is she going to give herself into the wired, or is she going to continue to live in this world? And there was a really sweet moment. There was actually, like, some emotion happening where, like, Arisu told her, like, no, you're human, I'm human, because Lain told, like, Arisu, like, oh, no, you're just, basically, you're a program, you're an application. Something like that. And she said, no, like, I feel your heart, you feel my heart, we're living beings. And then that seemed to kind of snap Lain out of it, and then she like clapped back at Eri with, like, who determined, like, you're a god, like how can you say that you were a god? Did the wire, did these things like exist before you were around? And that seemed to have kind of messed him up, and it seems like he was killed almost by like that quandary where it's like he had to think about who he is and what he is. So I'm assuming that this final episode is going to be her, like, making this final choice about, like, what she wants to do with her life. She has, like, one person in the world who seems to care about her, at least. Her fake family is no longer there. Her other friends, but, like, Arisa seems to be the only one who really, truly cares about her. Or is she going to go into the wired and leave her body behind? So we're going to hopefully get some answers to that with this final episode. So let's go ahead, let's watch it, and I will give you guys my thoughts about this episode and the series as a whole at the end. Alright, so this is already starting a little bit differently. Same. That's me throughout this whole series. It's like, is she talking to me directly? Like, it feels like she is addressing the audience. There is no real me. It really does feel like she's like, what do you think? What do you think is happening right now? So that was kind of a thing too about, like, with Eri and stuff, and like she was saying about how, like, you only exist in the minds of people who think you exist. That's kind of like religion, like a god, right? It's just like they only exist if people believe they exist. So I guess he's not fully dead yet. This is horrifying. Okay, so this is kind of like, this is the end of what happened in the last episode, and then she managed to do that to him. Hopefully this won't be a full flashback like that one, episode 11, I believe, which was basically, most of it was just going through stuff that's already happened. That's a little traumatizing to see. Just a bit. Oh, well, she is bleeding. She's a real person. Oh, I wonder if Lain will, like, erase her memories again so she doesn't remember all of this. But then she also won't remember the conversation she had. Aw, Lane's trying. She's trying. Aw. That's right, yeah, Risu got upset with her. It's like, it feels like you're just picking on me. Why didn't you erase my memories? Like, why do I have to remember what happened? So maybe Lain will, like, erase her memories of this encounter. Because that's gonna, like, stick with you. I'm glad to see Lain actually showing... She showed some emotions last episode, too, towards her. All reset, return. Oh, is like a choice that she made, like in a computer, like return, like what, go back to the very beginning again? And then reset is like resetting everything, so like nothing ever happened? If it goes back to the very beginning before all this happened, I'm gonna be like, what? What does return mean? Or maybe return means return to the wired? I don't know. Oh my gosh, are we resetting? Is she gonna, like, open the door and her family's still there? Oh my goodness, maybe. It seems like it. So she did... She set it all the way back to the beginning, didn't she? Oh, and that's that thing from the very beginning, right? When she got the Navi. I get back to the creepy parents or not parents again. Is she not there? Is Lain not there at all? Yeah, oh my gosh, wait, what happened here? Or is he like, wait, something's off. We're supposed to have some... What's happening here? So she never leaves... So she doesn't exist anymore? Maybe she did return to the wired. I would have liked to see that. I would have assumed that that would be like all reset. Would be like resetting the world without her in it. See, that's the thing that... Oh yeah, because she's supposed to be there. So we're seeing the flashbacks to the beginning, but we're seeing it without her in it. Maybe we're going to see both sides. We're going to see return, and we're going to see... Or like What was it again? So there was all reset, and then there was return. Huh, this is interesting. Okay. Oh, maybe. Oh. This feels like I've skipped to the very end of this episode, and I missed like 20 minutes. So Risa seems to like think... Oh. So she remembers Lain, but nobody else does. So her family kind of remembers her. Arisu vaguely remembers her. Oh, Chisa's there. Wait, okay, so... Whoa, what is happening here? Poor Arisu. She's like, let me take the shy girls and try and be friends with them. If you don't remember something, it never happened. This is so strange. Well, I guess we see how much Lain really mattered to those two. They don't remember her at all, and her father. So her father remembered her, but the sister and the mother didn't, because the father did say he loved Lain. It's just weird hearing like kind of happy music in this series. So she did go back to the Wired, I think. And that's the is that the guy from the oh my gosh, the club, right? Is he the guy from the club, or is he the delivery guy? So I guess it's all people who had relationships with Lain. They remember her, but nobody else in the world does. Oh, and that guy too. Okay. So we're getting like the finale, but Lane's barely in this episode, if at all. Oh, and there's there's the dudes from, yep, just all working normal jobs, I guess, without Lane existing. You see them, it's like they work together, but without Lane in the world, they had no reason to be working with like the whole thing with the knights. I guess they never existed in this world because Lane doesn't exist. This is very interesting. Are we gonna see her? Like, it's obviously, what isn't remembered never happens. So it's all implied, obviously, that Lane made that choice to go to the Wired. Memory is merely a record. You just need to rewrite that record. So she did. She rewrote over the memory. She basically, like, had it as if she never existed because she has the power to do that. She had the power to change memories, to wipe memories. Oh, and now we've got, like, the usual opening again. This is pretty trippy, but kind of cool. I kind of like what they're doing with this. So I wonder if Chisa is going to do what she did, because this is how the show opened up, right? Except they did say present day, present time. So, okay. Glad we get to see her. I was like, are they just implying it, but I want to see, like, what actually happened to her. But they still remember her because they love her. The dad, Taro, Arisu. Did she feel like it was best for her to do it because she keeps hurting people? So she did this for like selfless reasons, right? That's Airy, right? Yeah. We finally gotta get some answers, episode 13 right at the end? Or is it still gonna be kind of like a little bit vague? Oh, I wonder if that's what the all reset is. Whoa, okay, what is happening here? Okay, what is happening now? What? Hello, father? Maybe she's gonna see Arisu as well and be like the human side of it. I mean, this is very nice music. All right. There's only a couple minutes left of this episode. I'm like, what is going to happen? Is there going to be some big thing? Or is it just going to be like subtly implied what happened here? Oh, wait, is that Arisu? Wait. Wait, is that Arisu? Is that the teacher? Whoa. What? She got with the teacher? Or am I mistaken on that? I don't know how I feel about that. I assume I hope a couple of years have passed, but that's still concerning. I don't know how I feel about that. Holy cow, yeah, she's definitely much taller, so some time has definitely passed. Lane's so little, just like stuck in, I guess, like eighth grade. That's the thing, too. Eighth grade, like, I have to assume a lot of time has passed because they were like, what, 13, 14? Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's just a different person that she's with. A student teacher. Okay, so much time has passed. Probably like 10 years at least. But it's so sweet that she still remembers her. It is a reason. Okay, I mean, I could tell by looking at her, but it's nice to know she's just as sweet as she always was, though. I guess she was destined to be a teacher with the kind of person that she is. So they can see her. So is that implying that did she become the god and she's controlling the world and she's observing? Or did she just choose to be like, I don't know, this is like the very end, isn't it? And I still don't quite know what's going on. I've never had this happen with like a show I've watched where I've been still so confused right up until the end. I guess she is the god kind of just watching over everything, but she's not interfering, I assume. She just wants to watch over the people she loves. That's it? Is that it? That's it. Oh my gosh, okay. Damn. Not quite the way not quite the way I thought it was going to end. Sort of, I guess, where I thought there was going to be the big choice about what she wanted to do, but I thought it was going to be more, I guess maybe that screen where it said like I don't even know if those were two choices about like all reset return. Maybe that itself was the choice. Anyway, I have my thoughts, so I will kind of like think about what just happened and I'll tell you guys what I think about the series in general. All right, so that is the end of Serial Experiments Lain. So my thoughts on the final episode were that I was, I guess, a little surprised, but not all that surprised that she made the decision to give up her physical self. It seemed like that, even though she didn't quite, because at the very end, where Risu saw her in the real world and was actually communicating with her, whether like she was an actual person or she was just like a reflection or a representation of Lain. I'm not too sure, but unlike with Eri, where he like wanted to become a god, he wanted to take over the Wired for kind of like more self-serving reasons. Lain seemed to make that decision at the end when she said that like every time she tries to help Arisu, she just makes things worse. So it seems like she kind of made that decision at the end to like remove herself from the world, remove people's memories of her for her own reasons, for like selfless reasons rather than selfish reasons. It felt like she just kept trying to fix things and making things worse. And then sadly, it seems like she realized that maybe it would be better if she was just watching from afar, like watching over people. She didn't want to become a god. She didn't want to take over the world and you know for self-serving reasons for herself to become a god. She just, I think it was about basically I don't want to say it's like a Pinocchio thing, but it's just like she wasn't a real person initially, but through living her life in that world, developing relationships with people, which you saw at the end, like you saw even though she seemingly erased her memories and herself from the world, like the people who had connections with her, like her father, like Arisu, like Taro, they remembered her. It was just like little things that kind of like it's like when you have somebody in your life and they're not in your life anymore, and there's just like little things happen, and all of a sudden you just remember them. So it just she had that thing about like as a god or something. It's like the thing at the very beginning where she said like you basically you don't exist unless people like if people don't remember you. So in a way, even though she doesn't exist in the real world anymore, people do remember her, so she does. It was like she became a real person through her relationships with people. So she wasn't quite a real person, but she wasn't just like a program either. It was the whole thing, this the overarching things to be like your sense of self, like who are you, about the internet, the dangers of the internet, which, you know, social media and everything, like how could they when this came out, what, 1998, to know like how far like the internet was going to go. It reminds me very much of Perfect Blue, in a way, which I have done a video about. I will link that if you guys want to check that out. I did that a couple of years ago for like a Halloween special. Kind of touches on some similar things about like when you have different facets of yourself, like who is the real you. But yeah, overall, what did I think of the series? I just say it wasn't my favorite. It was definitely interesting. I'm glad I did watch it. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy my time with it. It just felt like maybe I wasn't smart enough in a way. It felt like I was playing catch up all the time. Whether you guys felt the same way the first time you watched it or even on rewatches. Maybe this would do better now that I've watched the whole thing. Rewatching it and coming at it from a different perspective, maybe I'll pick up on things. I feel like this is a show that would do well when you catch things when you watch it over again. But it was just like very slow pace, which I know that was its purpose. It was like kind of the monotony of the real world, where a lot of the animes I watch, it's like most of the time, yes, they are fantastical, but there are a lot that are more like grounded in the real world, but there is still something about them that is a little fantastical. What comes to mind to me is like, for example, like Psycho Pass, where that was more of like a grounded show dealing with, and then like Death Note as well, dealing with like the real world and like more grounded topics, but there was still kind of like elements that were supernatural or fantastical or futuristic. That's kind of like made it more, I don't know, like fast paced to watch or more interesting. This, it was just like the muted colors, the lack of music. There was just like a lot of silence, a lot of it just like staleness to the world. And that was its intention. I know that was the intention of this. And it was unnerving, which I'm sure was the purpose. It was just the constant drone of the power lines was a lot of the time the only sound. There was just a lot of quiet moments, and it made me a little bit uncomfortable to watch, I'm not gonna lie. And it was kind of an uneasy watch, like not quite knowing what was happening. There were definitely some like wild moments, like some really cool moments. And I really liked it for that. There was some like really, the art style was different from what I was used to, and it was kind of hard to take in sometimes. And it was, I don't know, it was very different from stuff that I've watched, and I'm still trying to decide if I liked it or not. It was just the kind of like not really knowing what was happening a lot of the times that was kind of frustrating, and maybe that was on me. Maybe I just wasn't picking up on stuff, or that was like the intention of the show. I was kind of waiting for like a big aha moment. There were some minor ones, but like even right towards the end, I still felt like I still don't quite know what's going on, and that frustrates me when I watch something and I don't understand it. This is a show where I feel like I could watch, and maybe I will watch, like there's probably a lot of essays, like video essays, breakdowns of like the show, discussions. There's a whole lot of philosophy going on about the sense of self, about like the connections of the human, the human world, like the internet and how it connects people, the like downsides to it, like the idea of like what is a god. There was all sorts of like really deep things that they were touching on, and I just felt like some of it was flying over my head. I hope I got an okay grasp on it. But yeah, I have to say, like, not my favorite show, but I am glad I watched it. It's definitely was a trip, and it did make me, like, I did think about its in my day-to-day life sometimes when I just be out and about and I would have thoughts about it. And I feel like a show where it gets you thinking about stuff and it has you remembering it. It did something right there. But yeah, in terms of like the anime I watched for the channel, I would probably rank it down towards the bottom of like in terms of like an enjoyable watch. I guess I just need something maybe a little bit more like things on the screen happening to make me interested, not quite so many quiet moments. I think it was just too like for reacts, there weren't like a lot of big bombastic shocking moments that were like, you know, things that people were like shows where like Madoka Magica and like Made in Abyss where there was like these really like these moments people were just like, oh, I can't wait for her to watch that, you know, like moments that like people who watch it are kind of like the like whoa what the fuck moments. These had a lot of like little kind of moments but nothing like big and crazy. But yeah, I have to say like of these types of shows where they talk about like the dangers of the internet and like connections and the sense of self, mention Perfect Blue. That to me, I liked that more. I like that more, touching on those types of topics. If you guys have not watched Perfect Blue and you enjoy Serial Experiments Lain or you like a kind of good psychological horror anime, highly recommend that. Once again, I'm going to plug the video I did. I'm pretty proud of it. I did kind of like a little video essay onto Perfect Blue and what made it so scary. So I'll have that linked if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about it. Overall, thank you guys for recommending it, even though like it wasn't the top of my anime. It is a classic, and I'm glad I saw it. There was a lot of like classic animes from the 90s that I still haven't watched because I was a kid when those came out. So like they were a little bit too mature for me, despite the fact I watched Perfect Blue when I was like 9 or 10 years old. But yeah, there's a lot of classic anime I still have not watched because like I kind of stuck to more of the magical girl anime as a kid, and then I dropped off on watching anime in like, you know, in my early 20s, and now I've recently gotten back to it. So I've missed a whole bunch of like the really big ones. Like I know it's gonna be shocking to you guys, I haven't watched like Cowboy Bebop. I know, haven't watched that. I do. I really feel like I would like that show. Yeah, there's like some other classic ones I haven't watched. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me for this. I hope you guys enjoyed my kind of like React series, my discussions on it. Hopefully I didn't miss the mark too much. I hope it was, you know, even though I didn't catch on to a lot of stuff and I was confused a lot of the times. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. To be honest, I think for the next anime I'm going to watch, I want something a little bit more lighthearted. I've been just watching a lot of kind of dour, just depressing or dark stuff, like playing that kind of stuff, watching that kind of stuff. And then I have some stuff going on in real life. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just put me in a mood, and I think I just need to get to something a little bit more lighthearted next. I'm just dealing with stuff, you know, and it's just like to come and watch stuff that's also dark and depressing or just like makes you feel a certain way. I'm just like, wow, I really need to take a break from that and watch something happy. So that's going to be what I'm going to ask you guys of next is I want something that is still going to be an anime that's going to be fun to watch or react to, but let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's get away from the psychological horror. Let's get away from like the darker stuff and let's go to something a little bit lighter. You know, I think that would be fun. So if you guys have any recommendations for like a little bit more lighthearted anime you'd like to see me react to, you can leave them in the comments. You can tweet at me at rosematterplays. You can recommend me stuff there. I will be doing a community post as well asking for suggestions, and of course I'll be putting up my poll of what anime you guys can vote on what to watch next. I am going to be taking a break from the anime reacts for next week and then maybe the week after because I have started a new Let's Play series, so I'm up to like 4 videos a week and then doing live streams. So I just want a little bit of a break. Plus I'm taking a week off of YouTube, so that as well. So I will be having a community post soon on my YouTube page. You guys can like give me recommendations, and then I'll be posting the poll. You guys can vote. So I will be like posting on my Twitter as well. Once again, at rosematterplays. if you guys want to see when I'm going to be posting my poll. So I think that's it for kind of like the administrative stuff. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching through to the end of my Serial Experiments Lain reaction and discussion. So stay tuned for when I will be posting when I'm going to be watching next. You guys can vote on that. Also, if you will be recommending an anime, please try and keep it to 1 or 2 seasons. I do like to try and do shorter series so that I can watch, more anime. So that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Lady of Eternity, Jared Fan, Revealing Storm, Asborn Kennedy, Icognito, Harry Gazif, Zoran Ether, Cardboard, and Shadow Dragon.